right here on the street.
Not bad.
Right here on the street.
Not bad.
Coaster ride around your world of favorite celebrities in the entertainment space today. And hey, some of the biggest stories making the rounds, the most controversial ones trending on Twitter, and not forgetting the ones that even put a broad smile on our faces, as I'm very sure a lot of movie lovers and of course fans of Nollywood actress Rita Dominic were so elated by the pictures and visuals that hit our social media platforms yesterday following her traditional marriage. Well, my name is Beto Bryan, host right here on Entertainment Now, and it's your one-stop shop for everything info edutainment worthy. Well, before we get into the interesting lineup we have on the show, you're reminded that the show is ever interactive across social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SpectrumTv.ng. You can also hit me up on my personal handles at Beto Bryan. Well, let's take this quick break, and while we're on this break, let's kindly socialize. When we come back, we'll jump straight into this amazing lineup of stories greeting this episode. Stay with us. Well, thanks for staying with us on the show and making it a date with us. Let's jump straight into some of the major talking points in the entertainment space. Well, the first story on hand is one that is not so much entertainment worthy, but all boils down to social media. The question is, what is the appropriate age a teenager is supposed to have access to social media unsupervised? Well, a lot of people have said once you clock the age of 18, a phone can be handed over to you. But nowadays we find younger users on social media platforms that actually have age restrictions of even less than 21. Well, a recent case was the issue of the Chrisland school sex scandal, where an apparent 10-year-old Chrisland schoolgirl was caught in sexual activities. But the other angle to the story many people haven't talked about is the fact that she had a social media handle on the Likey platform with over 5.1k followers. Her handle and the name of the handle is very questionable. It is Bad Girl 4K. Make any meaning of this? Well, she also titles her page Madness and Cringe. One thing for sure is Wizkid's baby mother, the mother of his son, Bolua Tife, that is Shola Ogudun, has narrated what she says her son told her about the immoral act engaged in by students of Chrisland High School in Lagos. According to her, the incident happened when the students traveled to Dubai to participate in the World School Games from March 10 to 13. According to Ogundu, she said her son described the video as disgusting, claiming that the female student involved did not immediately know the implications of her action. She also did urge parents to please pay close attention to children while narrating what she heard via her Instagram handle at o.oluwashola. Well, she made a post with a caption saying, "I accompanied my son to represent his school at the just concluded WSG, and I remember vividly the shock in my son's face when he was telling me about a video some kids were watching." Well, apparently from her narration, this video had already been leaked since March. She said she couldn't stand the video, so said her son, that she said the students played a game of truth or dare with the particular girl, could not stop despite having bugging dares. Well, after her son had told her what had transpired, she also went on to say that in the hotel, the students were placed in different levels. Some of them were placed on level 5, while others were placed on level 10 in terms of the hotel building. but that the girl waited for lights out before she snuck into the boys' room where this sexual act was indulged. Now the question still boils down to social media. I'm thinking if it's lights out, students are supposed to have their phones confiscated till the next day, right? But the boys still had their phones on them. The boys still had their phones on them and were recording the act as it transpired. Now the question is, they also had chaperones who, according to Ogundu, were outnumbered by the number of students. But hey, again, it still boils down to parental guidance, because like in the video you've seen, she danced to a lot of videos on her Likey with suggestive lyrics in them. Even most of the clothing she was wearing in her Likey videos are crazy. As an adult, okay, let me put it to you. How many followers do you have on Instagram or Facebook? But this girl amassed a followership of over 5.1k followers. And she's been on this app for over 3 years. So how old was she when she first came on Likey? What happened? Did the mother never observe that she was on social media? Well, the show is ever interactive. Feel free to get in the comments and let us know. What's the appropriate age for a teenager to have access to social media unsupervised? Well, some social media platforms do say 18, others say 21, especially when you're dealing with apps that also have young people exposed to some suggestive lyrics from songs in the likes of TikTok. Well, you also recall that quite recently, rapper Kanye West was on social media bitterly lamenting about his ex-wife's decision to put their oldest daughter, who is just age 9, North, on TikTok against his wish. Now, with things like this and the Chrisland sex scandal story, we can understand where Kanye West was coming from. But even in that case, Kim Kardashian still insisted that the account was co-owned by herself and her daughter North. Well, moving away from that story, we're still sticking with stories about teenagers and the need for increased parental control and guidance in terms of raising young people. Well, this story is a message of hope, as an autistic teenager who went missing has been found hundreds of miles away. The teenager by the name Colonel Jack Alsworth, now 19 years, disappeared from his family home in California back in 2019, but he's been found in Utah. Colonel Jack, who was autistic and has also been diagnosed with other mental health conditions, vanished from his family home in the Clear Lake, California at the age of 17. Well, credit to his parents, who said they never stopped looking for their son. However, thanks to tireless help from the authorities, the Flint family have now been reunited with their son. His mother, Susanna, had been making a lot of calls on social media, and let's quickly watch the script before we give you more on the story. At the age of 19, at 17, and finally found at the age of 19. As the years passed, the hopes of finding Colonel Jack seemed to be fading, till the authorities in Utah, like you saw in that clip right there, were tipped off of a report of a homeless man wandering about the streets. While taking to Facebook to share the news, the Summit County Sheriff's Office said over the past couple of weeks, many in their community called them about a homeless person wandering about the Campbell Junction area pushing a shopping cart. Well, it's interesting to see that this autistic person has been reunited with his family. One thing we know about autistic people is the fact that they have slower learning capabilities, and often at times where a real person would see danger in a situation, due to their autistic nature, they won't see it. Well, we're happy that they never stopped searching, and we're hopeful that he can receive the much needed medical care and mental health attention he needs to keep him from going missing again. You can see on the map right there where he went missing in Clearland, California, just south of San Francisco, and he was found several miles away in Park City in Utah, all the way across the border in the cold. So, well, this is another story greeting the social media pages today, and a lot of people are saying, as parents, as caregivers, as guardians, you need to be very particular in raising young people, noting their different personalities and those who have mental health challenges, and putting all those into cognizance in terms of raising children. Well, finally, moving away from the need to have more increased parental guidance control in raising young children, let's also talk about another phase in life of young people which is also plagued by some circumstances beyond their reach. People say when you go to school and you're supposed to learn and there's a disruption to the academic activities, what do you turn to? Do you turn to social vices? Do you acquire skill? Or do you build a talent? Well, most Nigerian youths have gone into skill acquisition and talent building, and even this hasn't been enough to salvage them, as we find out that some parents, like Rema's mother, still want their children to obtain a university degree. Well, Rema over the last few days was on Twitter talking about the fact that ASUU strike has disrupted his plan to get back to school. Well, in a twist of event, Bowen University on its official Twitter handle told the singer that he wouldn't need to worry about ASUU strike if he enrolled in their school. Like we recall, in 2021, Rema announced that he had gotten admission to study at the University of Lagos. Well, shortly after disclosing his admission status, ASUU embarked on an indefinite strike on Monday, April 19. Rema came back on Twitter to implore ASUU to call off their strike, noting that since the strike began, he hasn't attended a single lecture. Well, this discussion between Bowen University left Rema back on Twitter again with a quote in Pidgin where he says, "Omo, Unilag private school, don't they toast me, oh?" I'm blushing, OMG, stop it. Well, Rema saw the fun side to this as this conversation between Bowen University's officially verified Twitter handle and himself took place. Well, one thing for sure to note is Bowen University is a private Baptist Christian Nigerian university owned and operated by the Nigerian Baptist Convention. Well, in as much as we see the fun side to this, not every Nigerian family can actually afford to send their children to private universities. Well, people would say Rema, with his fame and money, should be able to afford a private education. But is it a crime for someone in that status to also still choose to go to a federal university in Nigeria? Can ASUU look at the plight of thousands of Nigerian students who complain about strike every single day on social media, but might not be approached by Bowen University or any other private universities willing to take them into school with them? So hey, let me know, are you also affected by the ASUU strike? How are you spending your time on this ASUU strike? One thing for sure is, even for the rich and the bourgeois who afford to send their children outside the country, those children still understand that in today's world, to be able to survive in the workspace and in the labor market, you need soft skills. Well, DJ Copy makes our next story right here, as DJ Copy says returning to DJing has distracted her from her studies. Nigerian disc jockey Florence Otedola, popularly known as DJ Copy, revealed how she's been hugely distracted from school since returning to DJing. Copy is currently studying African Studies at the University of Oxford, where she gained admission in 2021. In a post shared via her Instagram story on Sunday, April 17, 2022, the billionaire heiress said she had forgotten about her studies because of the several gigs she has been getting of late. It will be recalled that she was accepted into the prestigious university in March 2022. This will be the music star's second master's degree in 6 years. Copy earned a master's degree in music business from New York University back in 2015. And quite arguably, she's one of the most influential disc jockeys in Nigeria. Well, this is in comparison. On the one hand, we have Rema and the ASUU strike. On the other, we have DJ Copy, where a lot of people would say she's comfortable. No be Otedola pikin. Why does she still need to DJ? But it just shows you that as a youth in today's world, you need to be in time and in tune with the society and the realities of things. So soft skills on the one hand, but being able to find balance between your passion and a hustle, and also striking that balance in a pursuit of a degree or education in a tertiary institution, are things you need to take into cognizance. Well, a lot of people have criticized Coffee over the time in terms of her music, but of late she has evolved, showing that she is very determined to carve a niche for herself in DJing and also putting out good songs. Well, we're just hopeful that in time the youths learn one or two things from people like Coffee and Rema. Despite having the fame and money, they still see the need to go back to school. Well, I also hope ASUU is on the talking boards with the federal government to call off this strike so things can go back to normal for theming youths across the country who are still looking for an educational degree and soft skills to survive. Well, let's turn away from the youths in terms of what's happening around some key influential people and look to that escape route that a lot of them look to, which is in showbiz and entertainment. Well, the fact that one thing is for sure, Coachella event had taken 3 years for the music festival to return. It did indeed return to the Indio Empire Palo Club, but having seen 3 years of an absence due to COVID-19, the past weekend had fans flock into each Coachella stage. most unmasked. So hey, the question is, who was the biggest performer from the Coachella 2022? Well, the exciting 3-day celebration of live music resurgence with the likes of Harry Styles, Billie Eilish, Swedish House Mafia, alongside The Weeknd topping the bills, despite the fact that Kanye West withdrew at the last minute and went unnoticed. History was made throughout the weekend. Well, let's relive some of the highlights of performances at Coachella from the likes of Harry Styles. All right, let's go into that and check out the visuals for some of the biggest performances from Coachella 2022. Back to you. When I point to my ear, it means you should give the visual sound. Well, this is 5 of the top picks of some of the biggest headliners, but one thing for sure is 2NE1 fans were treated to a surprise reunion with South Korean girl group Latinos haven't made the stage. More than 15 acts all weekend, including stellar performances by Brazilian Queen Anita, original Mexicano sensation Grupo Ferim, reggaeton royalty. Billie Eilish also made history as Billie Eilish closed out Saturday's festivities with a performance for the people as she sang most of her happier than ever tracks on the catwalk among the crowds joined by Damon Albarn and Posnidnos. The Gen Z hero broadened her audience and proved that she can conquer literally any crowd. Harry Styles brought down the house with his style and hasn't lost a step with his Coachella headlining debut coming just months after the US leg of his acclaimed Love on Tour run. He debuted 2 beautiful new tracks from the upcoming album, Harry's House, The Melodic Boyfriends and the funky Late Night Talking. He also brought out country pop legend Shania Twain on a duet on her Hitman and I Feel Like a Woman. And not forgetting one song which I like, You're Still the One. You're Still the One, I know a lot of you know how to sing that Shania Twain song. Well, Swedish House Mafias were also not left out of it, and The Weeknd were the perfect pinch hitters. Well, despite only being bumped onto the headline status after Kanye West withdrew last week, the EDM supergroup of DJs Alsworth, Steve Angelo, and Sebastian Ingrosso gave the most intricate and visual performance of the weekend. Well, like much of Coachella's comeback itself, the trio was set for a celebration, making their return after a decade of inactivity. Well, talking about decades of inactivity brings us to our next story. Let's come back away from Coachella, back here to Nigeria. Well, D'banj in recent time hasn't put out that D'banj kind of album, but one thing is for sure is he always stays in tune with new music. Also, next on our music segment is the new music alert, and D'banj and Skibby Mayana, who has been on a rave of releasing hit songs of late, teamed up to serve as visuals for an incoming song in the works. I don't know what this song is going to be called, but I like the catch to it. It's like your teeth shine, your shoes shine, or something. Let's check it out and I'll be back to talk about it. Well, the Coco Master, like they call him, importer, exporter, Bangali, aka Jala Mensa, like his Ghanaian friends call him, is back in the studio, accompanied by Skibby Mayana, aka Escaladon Dada. And that is quite a catchy one to this new song in the works. Well, I am very sure loads of TikTok lovers, which is a new platform for music to reach the entire world, are lining up their TikTok entries as soon as this song drops. Because, man, I can imagine me on TikTok, your face show, your shoes shine, your teeth white, we outside. We can't wait for it, so we're going to step while we wave. Well, moving away from D'banj and Skibby, let's also tell you about this record-breaking with new music innovations on how to put out music in today's world. With NFTs and the metaverse fast becoming a thing, Snoop Dogg has said that he made 21 million in the first day after he put out his record. While Snoop Dogg's first course of action after purchasing the Death Row Records brand and catalog in February was similarly pulling the world of catalogs off streaming services. Now, Snoop Dogg has explained why in a new interview with Revolt's Drink Champs on Friday that he removed Death Row music, including his 1993 debut Doggy Style and Dr. Dre's seminal The Chronic, from the traditional streaming site service because those platforms did not pay enough. Instead, the rapper claimed he is planning to launch a standalone Death Row app that will host the label's music. Snoop Dogg's comments echo a common critique of the low royalty rates paid out by DSPs like Spotify and Apple Music. While notably, the Death Row catalog is still available on Tidal. Later in the chat, he contextualized the move as part of a broader effort to put the power back in the hands of the artists. To illustrate the potential lucrative nature of NFT music drops, Snoop Dogg went on a note that his most recent album, Back on Death Row, made $21 million in Metaverse on its first day of release. Well, let's take a listen to Snoop Dogg as he further explains the difference between putting out music via TV and radio play and streaming sites to actually making money off the Metaverse. Well, that gap is so huge. It's almost like 3 times what you get from streaming platforms. But hey, in the world of blockchain and technologies, NFTs, which stands for non-fungible tokens, and the Metaverse has broadened the scope of earning virtually. Well, one thing is, it has been reported that Back on Death Row was available in form of 25,000 Starchbox NFTs containing over 17 songs of the album, with each going for $5,000 a piece. In partnership with the blockchain gaming platform Gala Games, the album is also available on traditional streaming sites. Well, in March, the rapper also put the compilation Death Row Mix Volume 1 up for sale in form of 1,000 limited edition NFTs priced at 0.1 Ethereum, which is about $300 each, on the Web3 music startup sound XYZ. It also claimed that the NFTs sold out in about under an hour, while in the real world, the Back on Death Row album streamed like 9 million here, 7 million over there, and it only got like 34,000 downloads, which only added up to nothing in Snoop Dogg's words. While Snoop Dogg has made previous forays in NFTs and the Metaverse, and in March 2021, he has restated that they would be releasing the first NFT collection, A Journey with the Dog, on Crypto.com. In September, he also claimed to be the user behind the Twitter account at Cosimo Medic, which had garnered significant interest due to its owner's well-documented speculations in NFT space and the ownership of hundreds of NFTs, though it is now substantially a doubt surrounding the handle. Well, most recently, he also did announce a new partnership with Champ Medici and Clay Nation to launch an NFT collection on the Cardano blockchain. Big one there. Well, we'll hit the brakes right now and we'll allow you get in touch with us on social media, because even back here in Nigeria, there was a recent case of a young man who took a photograph of an old drummer, and that photograph was made into an NFT that sold for over ₦1 million. The young man in question came back to the drummer and gave him $500,000 to appreciate him for allowing him to use his portrait as an NFT. Do you know what NFTs are about? Are you familiar with blockchain? Well, if you're still in doubt, feel free to visit our website at www.spectrumtv.ng, as we'll be giving you the lowdown of every single tech improvement with regards to entertainment and music, and how even artists in this side of the world can jump on the bandwagon and become a huge success with this new innovation in blockchain and NFTs. You're watching the program Entertainment Now with Beto Brand. We still have loads of amazing segments coming up in a bit, so stay with us.
Hoy te la exploto, ¿cómo? Oh, mamá, ¿qué problema me va? Me mata la curiosidad. Oh, mamá, te vendo que te no hay atrás. Oh, mamá, un choque de electricidad. Oye, oh, mamá, hoy te la exploto, ¿cómo? Oh, mamá, ¿qué problema me va?
Well, thanks for staying with us right here on the show. We're still on this entertainment roller coaster ride around your favorite celebrities in the news, touching down on all the hot gigs and topics trending off Twitter, and of course the most viral stories on every platform you can think of. Well, it's about time for us to hit top gear and go into our next segment on the show, which is also ever interactive. It's a pick of 5 trending hit music videos hitting your screen, and you have the opportunity to pick your most preferred hit music video for today. Well, coming back home to Nigeria, we did tell you that the Banj and Skibi have a new one in the kitchen, still in the works. But hey, off his most recently released single, the video for this song trending has drawn a lot of comments and interactions on social media. And it makes our first pick of 5 on the show today. This is the visuals for Trenches by Skibi Mayana. Let's check it out. Amazing visuals right there for Trenches by Skibi Mayana. I don't know what Skibi has done recently, but Skibi has this new thing with finding hit songs to trend in Nigeria. Off the back of Baddest Boy remix featuring Davido, Trenches, and now the video is even more talked about among Nigerian youths and on social media. Well, moving away from that, Nigerian collaborations are increasingly in high demand. Afrobeat and Kiss Daniel make our second cut on the show with visuals for the song Bluffin'. Check it out. Bluffin', Afrobeat featuring Kiss Daniel. Although we didn't see much of Kiss Daniel in this song, a lot of people are saying, is it that Kiss Daniel wrote the song for DJ Afrobeat? Well, DJ Afrobeat, on the other hand, is a British DJ. You remember him for his song that went viral back in 2019, the song Drogba, Joanna. Remember that one? Or just in case you don't, you're still in time to get updated right here on this entertainment roller coaster. Moving on to our third peek of a music video that is much talked about and trending right here on the show today is a video for an awesome collaboration between Mastercraft and Chike. Record is titled Hosanna. Check it out. Well, it has a ring of ghetto gospel to it, and I don't know, this is not much of a style we've seen from Mastercraft or Chike, but hey, whatever it is, we love it. Don't know about you. Is it going to be your preferred peak for a hit music video for today? Let us know in the comments on social media or in our DMs online. Well, moving on to our next peak, making our peak of 5 on the show today is an amazing collaboration between King Perry, Bella Shmurda, and Backroad. It is up-tempo, it is vibey, and it might be a club classic in the few weeks ahead. It's a visual for the song Go German. Let's boogie down now. Well, awesome song right there, and we're down to our last peak of a music video worthy of your choice this beautiful Wednesday. Well, finally, we go on a trip to Jamaica, where I keep telling people she's probably the most talented woman ever to pick up a Grammy at the best reggae albums back in 2019. Well, Coffee Sister Girl is back, and off her latest album, Vivo features her on this next visuals for the song Runaway. Check it out. Just one of the songs over her new album titled Gifts. One thing for sure is she's super talented, and you cannot deny it. Well, haven't seen those 5 picks of hit music videos? Let us know which is going to be your most preferred hit music video for today. That video in question will get more airplays than the rest before the end of today right here on Spectrum Television. It's time now to turn our focus to our viral video for today. Is the segment of the Peak of 5 that spotlight one video that is much talked about on social media by our viewers. All right, here on the show, a lot of people talk about going on vacations, being in touch with Mother Nature, visiting Africa, and checking out a safari expedition. But the question is, would you try this? Talking about this, let's take a view at our viral video and find out what this is and why should you try it. Check it out. It's easier for me to tell you do not try this at home, but I'll leave it to you. Would you rather be in the cage and the lions outside the cage, or would you prefer to go outside the cage and the lions in the cage? I know a lot of people like the zoo experience where the lions are the ones in the cage, while others like the safari experience where they are the ones in the cage and the lions are set out roaming free. Well, let us know on social media, which type of person would you rather be? The one in the cage while the lions are outside, or the one outside the cage while the lions are inside? Well, coming down to our final segments on the show this beautiful Wednesday, let's check out our next segment talking about movie updates. Well, a renowned filmmaker in Nigeria has pushed the bar higher, telling the story of the NSAS protests in his own way. The short film titled Abdul is set to be premiered on big screens including Netflix, and this filmmaker has decided to tell this story from a different perspective. We all remember how the NSAS protests of 2020 went with the Lekki shootings. This movie by Samuel Adeoye has been released and is all about the NSAS shootings. It is targeted at telling the story from the Nigerian perspective of a youth. Well, filmmaker Samuel Adeoye has released this long-awaited short film titled Abdul months after its free premiere. The film is loosely based on the tragic shooting of an NSAS protester in October 2020. Written and directed by Adeoye, the short film was shot in Germany and follows Abdul, a role played by Abdul Saliu, a 25-year-old Nigerian who is on the verge of being returned to his home country but finds his life is safer in a prison in Germany. Well, faced with tough choices, he must find a way out or risk going back to a country with a crippling economy and a place where youth's lives never mattered. Lost in a peaceful protest for a better nation, the short film also stars Franziska Maria. Speaking on the film, the UK-based filmmaker, behind-the-scenes director, says it was his way of detailing the realities of being a young person in Nigeria. The film was written and directed by Adeoye and does follow Saliu's story. Well, finally, away from this, and we're touching down on our very final story on the show before we sign out right here. Guys, you've been watching Entertainment Now. Feel free to let us know which of these segments you love the most. Just to remind you, the show is also open for sponsorship and ad placements, and we're ready for y'all to check it out. Or to do business with us, kindly hit us up, and we'll be loving to have your contents beamed right here on our screen in this beautiful collaboration. Well, my name is Beto Bryan. This is as much as we can take on the show this beautiful Wednesday. Do well to stay tuned as we'll bring you more entertaining contents right here on Spectrum Television.
Right here on the street.